When we find ourselves caught into the seeking that can be also spiritual seeking, we could ask ourselves, for who I'm doing this? If there is any answer to this question, you will know it's from the ego. Because this thirst for reality that comes from the heart, it has only the heart as an answer, and the heart is silent, radiant, open, and loving. Sometimes we think we want truth, but we just want a better life. Sometimes we think we want truth, but we want simply have a better personality. Or we think that liberation or awakening is going to be something for ourselves. And as we go along in the journey, we are going to be, for sure, very disillusioned, because it's not. All disillusion are going to be taken away from us. Truth is for everybody, because is everybody, is behind everybody, but not, funny enough, not everybody seems to really wanting it, because it means to lose ourselves into love, to die into love, to surrender to love. And what is beautiful is that, at the same time, and this is really the divine grace, we are already completely immersed in divine love all the time. So in a way, it does not matter if we say. In another, when we do, we participate to this grace consciously. And we touch, the beauty of existence. And we become, through touching it, a vehicle for everybody, for every being, in doing the same. We become portal of transformation for everybody. It seems like we have to renounce to a lot, of things. But once this is done, we see that we didn't need them. They were what seemed to be, something that was absolutely necessary in our life. We discovered that our being doesn't need any hutch. I met people that got awakened in prisons, either physical prisons or in emotional prisons of their everyday life. And they discover a freedom within that was going way beyond sickness of the body or impossible situation, practical. And they could share the joy of this freedom with the world. It does not depend on the conditions of our life. It depends from the opening of our heart. And the opening of our heart depends only on our sincerity. That's all. How sincere we can be in looking within and see what is true of us and what is not. If our sincerity is total, then this joy and free love will overflow in our life instantaneously, sweeping away everything that is not real and making us ourselves as individual. Because that's another important point, because a lot of people might think that spirituality and discovering that we are one being is going to level all differences, where it's not at all like that. When we find our true self, then our true self can shine through our form and our individuality can blossom. So we find that our form, our body mind, is able to express completely the truth that we are, each one in our own different ways. Like some people being a mother, or some people doing a job that they find passion with. Each one of us, we become flowers of this garden of God in our own way. Each one of us has their own perfume, their own fragrance that is different. So this process of individualization of consciousness is very beautiful, because being a person is not being an individual. Being a person is living in a lie that comes from the fear of separation, where instead the individuality is the blossoming of oneness in the form. So the satisfaction also that the form feels in doing something that is appropriate for the form itself is something that is deeply felt and enjoyed. The joy of being human, not just the joy of knowing that we are divine. The last thing I thought was to be sitting in front of you and doing this interview years ago. I would never imagine that I was going to share this message. I was a journalist, and I've been working in radio, TV, newspapers, and my passion was communicating something that was true. After realization, it became quite clear to me that the function was correct, but the topic had to change. And so the communicative skills went at service of this message. And my joy is in this. I love meeting people. I love sitting with people. I love listening to their stories, to them, and enjoying together this that I am sharing in these moments with you. Advaita means not to. And the entire manifestation is moving into polarities, into opposites, because that's the nature of life. So where do we find non-duality? Not in the manifestation of life, but in the place that is acknowledging and recognizing the game of duality. And this is an awareness, the awareness that is behind our senses, behind our body-mind, using the senses, using the body-mind to experience life itself. Like, for instance, in this moment, we are hearing a sound and an image of a woman talking on a screen. What is in you that, in this moment, you asking me this question, and anybody watching this interview, what is in you that knows that there is sound? What is in you that knows that there is movement and form and color? Something that is not a thing. Something that is not a sound, something that is not a form, something that is not a color. An awareness. This awareness is non-duality, and is the same one in every and each form. This awareness that is non-duality is generally ignored, because the attention of awareness itself, that is our true I, goes into the experiences of life. And so we miss what we are, and we look for what we are into life, and we don't find it. And the result of it is suffering and misery. When in this moment, for instance, using the sound of the voice, the movement and the color and the form of what you see, you can pinpoint in you this unmoving, still, silent, quiet place that knows, that sees, that perceives this experience. Then you can rest in your non-dual essence as duality goes on. Non-duality, the non-duality message is not against life, is not against the manifestation, doesn't separate you from life. Is the place out of which we can enjoy life, is the place out of which we can meet life, learn from life, grow in life as forms. So non-duality is, as a message, as a teaching, is a way to find our true identity and share the beauty of our true identity through our own life, each one of us in our way. Of course, the word awareness is a word, as well as the word consciousness or peace of true self or ultimate reality. So the only way to be ensured that we are speaking about the same thing is not losing ourselves into words, but looking within. What is in you and me the nose of the existence of the word awareness? What is in you and me that sees the vibration of the sound awareness? It's something that cannot be said, but we are absolutely certain that exists. It's me, it's you, it's I. That is awareness. It's quite easy. The thinking that is just perceived through the brain, because the thinking does not come from the brain, as science tells us also. The thinking is a subtle object in the sense that it doesn't have a gross body. It's just a movement in us. The thoughts is something we can perceive. I can perceive my thought. I can perceive the arising of my thought. I can perceive the unfolding of my thoughts and their dissolving. But what is in me that knows of the thought of awareness, for instance, or any thought? It's something that is not the thought, is the self. Sometimes we lose ourselves in the concept of awareness and we miss instead the direct perception, the direct living from awareness. The living from awareness is not made of words or definitions. It's not something can be understood or needs to be remembered. It's not something we can learn. It's a self-recognition, is an apperception, is a direct perception of the one that is perceiving the word. And it does not depend upon how much knowledge is in us, how many things we know. It does not depend upon anything like that. It is a direct self-reflecting from the object that is life to the subject. And when we do, with our great surprise, we discover that the subject has no name, has no gender, has no form, has no color, is not a thought or a feeling. It's this pure, silent nothingness. Many people say to me, fair enough, Shakti, thank you to pinpoint me what is awareness. I'm sitting with you and I'm seeing it, but in my everyday life, I miss it all the time. I know awareness exists as a concept, as an idea, but I don't really experience it as when I'm with you. What do? The thing is that we lose ourselves into experience. The attachment that we have towards experience can be people, can be situation, can be an idea even, It's something that is real. It happens. And this is the force, in a way, the gravitational force that leads us away from our center, that is awareness. What to do? By suffering the attachments, by recognizing how living from attachments doesn't lead us to joy, doesn't lead us to openness. We find ourselves slowly or fastly, depend upon us, to let go that attachment. And more we come to rest in what we truly are. By doing so, we will discover still that there is a flickering, like a flip-flop that happens. Moments in which we are able to live from our true nature, and moments in which we are instead totally lost into the illusion. And this flickering is totally normal. It is a process of integration that might last for quite some time. The process of integration of this recognition that leads then to real awakening, that is a steady living from what we are, is an integration that will ask us to go through consciously all the fears and all the shields, all the masks that we have been dressing ourselves with. So it's a journey in itself. That's the paradox. We can see what we are in a moment, actually only in this moment, yeah. But the living of it, well, that's the journey of our human experience. In opening our heart to truth, we discover that each step of the journey has its beauty. Even missing the point, even failing, even, losing ourselves sometimes into things, there is a beauty in that. The guru means in Sanskrit, gu, darkness, ru, light, means from darkness to light. The guru is life, the ultimate, the sadguru, the guru that leads you to complete, not only just awakening, but a complete liberation, is life itself. So life itself is the teacher that shows us every day where we are, where we are not. And the beauty of this living from the heart is exactly this, is the beauty of being able in each moment to enjoy the lesson of the day and maybe smile a bit at our mistakes and errors and see that even in that there is a gift.